So, here's a question for you. How does a tiny nation with pretty much zero resources and enemies on all sides end up becoming a global powerhouse? It sounds impossible, right? Well, let's dive into the incredible story of how Israel did just that. I mean, think about it. How did a nation born literally in the middle of a war become the world's eighth most powerful country? It's a huge paradox. So in this explainer, we're going to deconstruct that. We're going to look at the strategies behind its success. How did a country that, frankly, many thought wouldn't last a year turn into a tech and military giant? Okay, let's break it down. Okay, first, let's just lay out the challenges, because they were massive. Look at its neighbors. They're floating on oil. Israel, nothing. Zilch. No black gold, no huge mineral deposits. Their foundation was literally just rock and sand. Not exactly a great starting point for building an economy. And it wasn't just about what they didn't have. It was also about what they did have, right on their doorstep. Enemies. I mean, from the very day it was founded, the nation was under constant threat to its very existence. We're talking 6 major wars in just its first 50 years, and often against a whole coalition of nations at the same time. And if that wasn't enough, add this to the list: a severe shortage of the one thing you absolutely need to live: water. The situation was so bad that back in 1948, the government actually had to ration it. We're talking just 10 liters of water per person per day. That's barely enough for anything. So, you're probably asking, how on earth did they survive? I mean, the day after they declare independence, boom, they're attacked by 5 different countries. Talk about a rough start. They were totally outnumbered, completely outgunned. Survival wasn't just a goal, it became the mother of all invention. If you looked at this matchup on paper, it was a total mismatch. The Allied Arab armies, they had more soldiers, way more tanks, better weapons. It looks like it would be over in a week. So, with brute force off the table, Israel had to get creative. They had to rely on something else. And this is where it gets really interesting. They leaned into psychological warfare, using these clever, almost low-tech tricks to create the illusion of power. For example, when they ran out of actual bombs, you know what they did? They dropped seltzer bottles from planes. The whistling sound as they fell was enough to create total panic on the ground. Then there was this mortar called the Davidka. It was famously terrible at hitting anything, but man, it made a terrifyingly loud noise. It actually scared enemy soldiers into retreating because they thought Israel had some kind of secret super weapon. Okay, so battlefield tricks were one thing, but long-term survival, that required something more. It required knowing what your enemy was planning, maybe even before they knew. And this is where intelligence became Israel's absolute sharpest weapon. And you can't talk about Israeli intelligence without talking about Mossad. They became legendary, not for playing defense, but for going on offense. Take the 1967 war. Their intel was so good, so precise, they managed to bomb pretty much the entire Egyptian Air Force while the pilots were literally eating breakfast. The war was basically over before it even started on the ground. Just incredible. And here's a story that just perfectly illustrates how they operated. It's about a single spy, a guy named Eli Cohen. He goes undercover in Syria pretending to be this rich businessman. He manages to get in with all the top military leaders. And then, as this supposed gesture of friendship, he donates a bunch of eucalyptus trees to be planted near Syrian bunkers, to give the soldiers some shade. Well, guess what? Those trees became the perfect, can't-miss targeting markers for the Israeli military. Just genius. So once they kind of got a handle on the whole survival thing, thanks to their military and intelligence, they hit the next huge wall. How do you build a modern economy from nothing? Again, no natural resources. So they realized their only real asset, their only real bet, was on the minds of their own people. And this is where their strategy took a really interesting turn. See, a lot of education systems are all about memorizing facts and getting good grades. Israel's system, it was engineered from the ground up to create problem solvers. The goal wasn't just to churn out a bunch of engineers. It was to create innovators who could tackle the country's biggest, most urgent problems. Things like water, defense, healthcare, you name it. And boy, did this philosophy pay off. You got an engineer named Simcha Blas who invents drip irrigation, basically solving the national water crisis. You've got scientists developing the pill cam, a tiny camera you can swallow. And of course, there's the famous Iron Dome air defense system. The key thing here is these weren't just clever gadgets. They were solutions to real problems. And those solutions, they ended up becoming huge global exports. And if you want to put a price tag on that kind of innovation, look no further than this number. $15.3 billion. That's what Intel paid for Mobileye, an Israeli company that basically created the brain behind modern self-driving cars. That one sale just shows you the insane economic power that comes from investing in people. So, right as Israel is hitting its stride with this knowledge-based economy, something happens on the other side of the world, a huge geopolitical shift that unexpectedly hands them their next massive advantage. The Soviet Union collapses, and in the 1990s, what happens? 1 million highly educated Jewish immigrants pour into Israel. And we're not just talking about anyone. These were world-class scientists, top-tier engineers, doctors, the best of the best from the USSR's famous technical schools. Just like that, in one fell swoop, Israel's population jumps by 20%. And overnight, they suddenly have one of the most skilled workforces on the entire planet. So now you've got this incredible brain power, maybe the most skilled workforce in the world. But there's a huge problem. Who's going to invest? No foreign company wanted to pour money into a high-risk, war-torn region. So they had all these brains, but no capital to actually put them to work. It was a classic catch-22. And the government's solution to this was, well, it was a masterstroke, a truly game-changing financial strategy called the Yozma Fund. Yozma means initiative. It was a $100 million government-backed venture capital fund, and it came with a deal so sweet that foreign investors literally couldn't say no. Check this out, because the way they structured this deal was genius. It basically eliminated all the risk for foreign investors. The government's offer was simple. You put up 60% of the money for a startup, and we, the government, will put up the other 40%. If the startup goes belly up, no problem, we share the loss. But if it succeeds, you get to buy our 40% share back from us at the original super low price. Think about that offer. It was basically all the risk for the government and all the potential profit for the investors. It was an absolute no-brainer. And just like that, the floodgates opened. Capital poured in. The top VCs from America, Europe, Japan, they all rushed in, and that's what ignited the tech boom that earned Israel its famous nickname, Startup Nation. Okay, so we've gone on this incredible journey from a nation just struggling to survive to a global superpower. So what can we really learn from all this? What are the big takeaways? You can really boil this whole story down to 3 powerful lessons. Lesson 1, geopolitics respects power. You have to be strong on your own first before anyone will listen. Lesson 2, human capital is the ultimate resource. What's in people's minds is always going to be more valuable than what you can dig out of the ground. And finally, lesson 3, create leverage. How? By inventing technology that the rest of the world just can't live without. And all of this kind of leaves us with one final big question. What is a nation's greatest asset? Is it what's buried in the ground, the oil, the minerals? Or is it what's in its people's minds? You know, when you look at Israel's story, I think the answer becomes pretty clear.